What up? You gotta take your headphones off.
They're coming off.
They're coming off.
They're off, dude.
Welcome. This episode is called "We Are Figuring This Out."
Absolutely figuring it out.
Andrew, why don't you tell us a little bit about the setup we have going on right here and how exactly we're achieving this?
Okay. So, what you're seeing is a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. It has a MFT to F mount Metabones speed booster paired with a Sigma 18 to 55 f 2 point something 8 maybe
I think so.
lens running via micro HDMI to a Elgato Cam Link, which is a USB capture card, which then comes to my computer via USB 3.0 into Open Broadcaster. That's your video, audio. It's the Bluebird microphone into a Focusrite interface
That they can't see.
that you can't see.
And then we're running a lot, right?
Yes. We are using OBS, has a brand new feature where you can apply a lookup table to your camera in real time, and essentially you color grade in real time. And it's really powerful. It's kind of quirky to get set up. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video at some point on that. But yeah, otherwise our image is completely flat and not suited for this. At all. So that's that.
What are we doing? So let's. We've been talking about doing this for how long? Like just starting with something.
I don't
For you?
5, 6, 5 or 6.
5 or
years.
6 years.
Yeah.
And it's always been one of those things where just, like we didn't know what to talk about. We didn't know what we were gonna do, and now I feel like we kind of have a direction to shoot for. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But we want to get into first, like, how did we get to the point where we're doing this kind of video? And like who we are a little bit. So I guess I'll start.
Okay.
So hi, I'm Jared. I've been doing the video production stuff off and on since I was about 17. It just something that always came natural to me, and I ended up working a lot with nonprofits mainly. A lot of churches, a lot of ministries, and everything like that. Oh, thank you. They can hear me better now. Theoretically, right? And I've just always had this desire, or I guess there's just always been a lack within the media for like nonprofits that they never want to spend the money on doing it correctly, and which is understandable because they're nonprofits, they don't have a whole lot of money, and B, just in general, the world that I grew up in, a whole lot of churches and things of that nature, like just anything with a label like a Christian was like, oh, that must suck. Like I grew up and like everything on Christian radio was just imitating a pop star from like 2 years ago, and there's just from that point, like that was one of the first things that really pushed me into doing more media stuff, and very interested in music. Is just like, why? Yeah. Does it, like, Christian synonymous with suck when it comes to like any sort of media, and it got worse and worse as I got into the industry and worked with people that had money to do things, or seemingly so from the outside looking in, and I ended up getting to edit like footage from all over the world from different missionaries and things of that nature. Yeah. And I would have to edit like cell phone cam, like flip phone status. And they would have like...
What's wrong with that, man?
They would have like 2 seconds of video about like an orphanage in Mexico, and I was...
And within that 2 seconds, they would beg you for money.
Yeah,
I can't forget that.
Yeah. And like, I was like, what is this? I mean, I was having to learn how to make do with whatever they had hand.
Yeah.
And they would never have like... there was a major denomination, which I won't name, that had a administrator of the whole program of their world mission department, and they said the administrator with a DSLR and said, when you get some time, try to film some stuff. That's ridiculous.
That's all you need.
That is ridiculous to have someone with no experience to try to get something usable, because that's the only time. And I understand you have to like budget and things like that. But
so how did that footage turn out?
I don't
about like
know.
I'm expecting it to.
About so yeah. And like with all these like you would think. And I didn't really get like super religious in this, but you'd think like if we were supposed to be a unified body of Christ following under Jesus, then you would think that we would have a lot more unity and have a lot more power and a lot more resources to pool to be able to actually pool like Jesus told parables, Jesus told stories, and we suck at that. Like,
yeah.
You know, so I mean, I just grew up in this whole lack of any sort of good like production value ever in anything, in any kind of Christian art. It always pretty much always sucked. Like most of the music sucks. Any sort of the major films are pretty much terrible.
But
yeah,
that one hits home.
I know, and the thing that matters most. The mission.
Come on, hold on. You can't tell me that when you watched, we'll say, Facing the Giants for the first time, that it wasn't at least decent. It wasn't terrible. It was at least decent.
Name one thing. Okay, if we're supposed to follow,
it was at least decent. Like,
so fine, I'll give them decent, but like, are we aiming for decent?
Of course not.
Okay.
I mean, it's sad I'm having to barter for decent right now.
That's the point.
You know what I mean?
But I grew up with such a lack, and I'm not good at this either. I haven't any other sort of crazy real experience, and most of my experience has been working with whatever you have too.
Right.
Like most of the situational nonprofits have. You just gotta do with they have a main purpose, helping homeless or reaching a certain demographic and something, and that's where the majority of the resources should go.
Yeah.
But also there's just an incredible amount of stories. I mean, I've seen, even as a kid, I saw footage of people like with like cysts and stuff in Africa, and then they falling off and stuff. I mean, there's some pretty powerful stuff out there, and nobody has seen it. I mean, there's some pretty powerful stories to be told that we don't have any sort of video, or if we did, it sucks, or it hasn't got any sort of major exposure. So that has kind of driven me, and I got more and more specific as years go by, because at first it was just like, this sucks, and it kind of developed after I saw a lot of this little stuff. So I mean, that is kind of where I am now. Like, I want to somehow improve that situation. We have a certain amount of experience and talent. Might as well use it to make the world better.
I mean, I agree.
And I'm
with you there.
I'm not like super talented. I haven't had a whole lot of experience. I've like got to touch a red camera like once, but at the same time, like,
it only takes one time.
There's
fall in love with a red.
There's like a huge disconnect.
You didn't touch the red when you came down and hung out with us at the church?
Well, touching it and like
getting to use it.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand.
But I mean,
because if I walk into a room
it's like,
and there's red cameras, like I'm placing at least a finger.
It's like seeing like a Lamborghini.
Maybe a hand.
It's like seeing a Lamborghini. You want to just touch it.
Anyway, sorry. I just had to ask.
There's just this crazy disconnect between like what is actually going on in media as a whole. Right. And what nonprofits are doing. It's totally different hemispheres. I mean, they may use some of the same equipment, but the approach is completely completely different.
Totally.
And I don't think it should be.
I agree.
All right, your turn.
Okay. What a terrible thumbnail. What a terrible thumbnail. How did... Whatever.
That was like...
But at least it shows that we're on camera talking. So
we're on camera talking. Gotcha.
So what am I supposed to talk about?
Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you here? What is the meaning of life?
Well, I'm here because I bought a way to put my camera into my computer. And then I was like, hey, Jared, it works. And then we were like, hey, let's do something. So, I mean, literally that's how I'm here. Metaphorically, how I'm here is, well, I met you. We became friends and have done so much together.
What have we done? We've worked on a horse ranch.
Yes.
Okay.
Cowboy camp, basically.
We've campaigned for a local politician.
That's Coomer.
Yeah. Let's see. We've done. Have we done more than one kids camp, like youth camp?
Yeah,
I've done more
summer.
than one.
In one summer, we did, I think, 3.
And I did a few
did
after
2.
that.
Yeah.
And then you did a few after that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sporadic ones. Okay.
We lived together at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember that.
I just remember having. Yeah. At that point in my life, things were confusing.
Yeah.
So I don't
for
remember
both of
much
us.
about
I don't
it.
remember. I think there's a lot of yelling.
Yeah. Good and bad.
Let's see. What else crazy stuff have we done? We've done many road trips.
Tons.
Just a bunch of them.
Hopefully many more with some stuff that we want to do with giant clouds.
Yeah. So what motivates you? Like, what's your drive behind doing media stuff? And you play the guitar and all that other stuff that I can't do.
Well,
how'd you get your wife? Guitar?
Yeah, just do some guitar picking. I think the biggest driving force for me is my faith. Of course, you take your strengths finders test and they tell you, you've got good belief, or you're an includer. And so
are you an includer?
I don't think that was on my list, but I feel like I want to include people.
Okay.
What is that noise? Oh, it's a cop. Okay. Anyways, so I primarily do what I do because of faith and because I think the solution to a lot of people's problems is developing a relationship with the person that they were created by. So, that's on like a grand, very metaphorical scale. That's like deep down why I do it. Practically why I do it is because it's challenging and fascinating. I mean, particularly for me, also shout out to Chris from Watch Me Work. Hey buddy, I do see you in the chat. It is great to see you, my friend.
Hi, Chris.
Hope everything's going well with you guys over at Cleaver. So I am predominantly a video editor. That's what I spend most of my time doing, and the idea of it's fascinating. I've listened to a ton of podcasts and of all these famous editors and stuff, and I mean, essentially what's cool about it is you kind of, within the scope of what you're making, you're kind of outside of time in the sense that this clip that was shot on this day that refers to this part of the script and this clip are completely like in separate timelines, but you can stick them right next to each other and cut out like it's like what you want life to be. It's all the good and none of the bad. It's like
espresso.
Yeah, it's like extremely nutrient dense life. I wake up and then you cut and you brush your teeth and you cut and you like fix your hair and then throw on a shirt and then you're out the door, and it's all like real quick pacing. And I think it's fascinating that you can do that. But at the same time, people still buy into it. It's that like you would think your brain would reject like a rapid fire of information. Yeah. But somehow our brains actually thrive on it and like enjoy it, and it's entertainment, and people pay money to see it.
Except the stuff like Robot Chicken or some of the new cartoons, just like every 2 seconds, like
Yeah, Chris, I'm totally down for something like that. We should get on like an email or something. We can talk it out. We're trying to do this like once every other week, maybe
once a week.
I mean, ideally once a week.
Yeah.
With scheduling, it may have to take a few weeks off, but
we'll get a cardboard cutout of Andrew or something.
Yeah.
Or
stand
me,
in.
so whoever can't get it.
Right, we can do a stand-in. But yeah, I'm totally on board. But back to what I'm saying about why I do it. I mean,
you keep talking.
Okay, I will. I'm gonna turn this. So, I've been handed footage, and Chris, I can definitely fill you in on our vision and stuff. That's actually kind of what this whole episode is about. But as an editor, I've been handed footage of, let's say, an interview with like a person, maybe their wife, talking about something that happened, and it's like and they can't even thanks for dropping in, man. It's like they're stuttering a lot. I mean, even me right now, when I'm thinking about things, kind of and through the power of editing, you can take a complete mess of an interview, and with some careful cuts and timing and kind of like some type of narrative that's stitching it all together, you can totally with some careful edits, you can take something that is completely unusable if you were to just upload it to YouTube and turn it into something beautiful. I mean, we just did this sort of, not horribly, but sort of with a documentary that we just produced that'll be coming out on Monday. Check it out. And, the people we interviewed and stuff, in the grand scheme of people I've interviewed, did pretty well.
Yeah.
Very concise and to the point, and it was a clear presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But the thoughts were still all over the place, and there's stutters and ums and all that stuff, and I was able to go through and cut all that out and trim it down, and that's the kind of stuff that I just love doing.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, it's challenging, and
yeah.
You get to sit there and think about how's this going to make somebody feel, how does this impact.
There's a lot of ethical pressure, because I mean, you could take, once you get all the raw elements of interviews and B-roll and all this other stuff, especially if there's a lot of it, you could really twist it into to something that might be baggy, which is what you were bringing up earlier about the whole, hey, please give us money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I've had to do work before where I had to intentionally frame it in a way that led people to donate money and that kind of thing. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. People need money to do the things they want to do.
Yeah.
If it's cool and it helps people, I am all for it. And God bless you in your efforts.
I think that's dying, though. I think that whole genre is dying.
It seems to be that the GoFundMe epidemic that took place, where anybody and everybody who wanted to hop on a plane and go fly somewhere would throw up a little 10-minute video on their iMac camera or whatever. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is, when you give your money to somebody, there is a connection that takes place between you and that person. And to me, nothing beats sitting down with someone across the table and saying, hey, this is what I want to do, and this is what I need to get there. And it feels so impersonal and cold when you just throw a video up on Facebook and tag all of your friends and family.
Mm-hmm. And
that's not to discredit the good that comes from that, because that person is still hopping on a plane, is still going and doing missions work, which is it's the whole, does the end justify the means kind of thing. And in this case, I would say yes. If you're going on a mission trip, if you're going on a mission trip and you are feeding, starving children in Africa, you can raise money on GoFundMe and all that. I would much rather you go and meet people in person and let that be your primary source of fundraising. But yeah, I mean, there's
and
also
Nate McKay. It's I think there is a better approach to that. I don't know what that is, but I think there needs to be a new approach, because the opportunity that we have to, sit here on YouTube or for somebody else to put something up is very, very accessible. And that opens up a lot more opportunity for someone to not have to necessarily raise funds.
Right.
That combined with, there's a lot of people that go out and help the homeless or impoverished or something.
Right.
They go and work in the countries that they're doing. So, I mean, there's many different approaches. We're not saying that one's better than the other. We're saying that I'm saying that it could be better as a whole.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It can be. Anyways, I don't know how we got there, but we got there.
No idea.
And so, I like to edit. He likes to direct and film.
It works.
And we have other people that are on board with this that are not here tonight. Shout out to Nate Cloud, Brandon Cloud, Josh Huey, Jacob Peterson, Sam Anderson.
Yeah.
All the guys that I know.
We've worked with all of them.
Yeah, we've all worked together. We all want to do things. Even Nate McKay, who's in the chat right now, he totally threw us a bone this past weekend and let us borrow his cameras. I'm very grateful for that, Sensei. And this is a big group effort. We all have strengths.
Yeah.
And we want to just, if we build something out of everyone's strengths, theoretically we don't have any weaknesses.
Right.
As far as all the bases being covered.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you have somebody who's
it's all similar vision, and that's I kind of think where this whole Giant Club thing came from. Like, we all had this desire of, like, things could be better. I mean, it could look a lot different. Sure. Obviously, yours focus on a lot more on editing, which, by the way, you're welcome for getting into editing. and here's
40, 30-second videos.
There you go. Figure it out.
I need them yesterday.
Hey, figure this out. And I mean, now you're clickies and can do it a lot more efficiently than I can. And but
it's a strength, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're getting at. It's a strength.
But we get to the point where it's like, I've heard so many people say the same sort of things. Like, I want to be able to do this, or like, I have a heart for orphans. Like, how can I do that?
Right.
Or even just a simple, like, I think things could be better, and I like filming things. It's a very, like, base skill set. But as we get to the point where we've talked about this for so long, doing kind of a collective effort to where it's just like, okay, we're gonna do it.
Right.
All of us have years of experience doing whatever, filming, editing, whatever, like graphics.
That's true. Between all of us, like I said, almost every base is covered.
Yeah. And so this is our effort to get our hands on whatever is in front of us. So we got the one thing a door that opened itself, if you will. We'll put it metaphorically. I
would say it definitely happened right. I mean, it happened so quick.
Yeah.
That was so quick.
So we had some pretty cool opportunities that we had an opportunity to film. I'll stop saying that word. But we're actually releasing we're releasing a video about an opportunity. No, we're releasing a video that is the start of a family story that we thought was very powerful, that we wanted to share with everybody.
Right.
And we'll just see how it goes.
I think I can put up I have like one of the thumbnails.
Thumbnails?
Yeah.
So we'll check that out.
Yeah.
We'll put up a thumbnail and kind of tease it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I think it's somewhere.
Subscribe or whatever. Follow us so you can see this pretty powerful video on Monday. And we'll be following up with them as much as we can, but they'll be doing some traveling.
Right.
It's stories like that. A huge family that's doing something with non-traditional lifestyle change, and that's very, very intriguing. That the kind of things that have led up to them doing that thing. And I know I'm being really vague, but we're kind of holding on some of the information until it gets released.
Yeah.
But even still, there's been plenty of opportunities as far as, like, I wish that I could film this somehow. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I could sit down and have a camera and an audio and everything I need to sit down and interview this person. I met a homeless person that by choice went homeless after his wife. I think his wife cheated on him. His daughter OD'd, and he snapped. Like, he snapped. He said, "I'm tired of paying rent and making it, owing everybody all this stuff."
Right.
At one point, he had made somewhere around $800,000 in 1 year. He personally went to Ukraine on his own dime to help people over there, orphanages and everything. So talk about self-starter, and now he's homeless.
Freaking crazy.
And it's like crazy stories like that. I'm like, God, like, you're sitting in my car telling me one of the most amazing stories I've ever had, and I couldn't do anything about it. Like, I was like, people need to hear this.
Yeah. If for no other reason than just for the sake of the story,
Right.
Like, even if people
There's
aren't
no-
moved to do anything, like,
and
just
that's-
telling the story alone is enough of a reason.
That's fine. Yeah, because I'm not gonna sit there like, oh, here, GoFundMe for so and so homeless
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna do. He doesn't need the money. He had money, had a job. He didn't want any of that.
I mean, he chose to be.
And he was
homeless,
telling me, even though he was telling me I'm an alcoholic, I don't have everything figured out,
Right.
but God still shows himself. I will pray to God for something like, hey, will you provide? And he provides some specifically things. Like, he'll find whole gallon things of, like, hand sanitizer because he prayed for it. Like what a compromise.
I don't know
like,
if I've ever seen a gallon of hand sanitizer before.
well,
but
one of the big ones.
yeah.
It's
Alright.
like, but I mean,
That's cool.
just a very compromised, broken
Yeah.
person who's an alcoholic that's still telling me, like, that God is faithful.
Right.
What an odd thing. And so
Yeah.
things like that is kind of why we're putting together Giant
Yeah,
Cloud.
for sure. It's definitely a motivating factor.
I mean, we have the we're both giant nerds, and we want to talk about the technical side of things.
I mean that. Yeah, for sure.
But there's also plenty of times where both of one of us said, I wish I could just sit down and interview this person.
Yeah.
Plenty of
Definitely.
times.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like you've had that vision for a long time.
Yeah.
Going back to, like, you wanted to do that series when you were traveling with Mark, the Silent Stones or whatever, where you would kind of link up with these people and just catch a quick talking head interview with them, and
just doing whatever I can,
So,
but
and then when you combine those interviews with visual representations of what they're talking about, and you put some powerful music behind it, or just whatever fits the theme, and then you kind of make it into like a story, and it's you take somebody's life story and bring it to life in a way that kind of immortalizes it and shares it. It makes it so easy for people to just figure out who that person is and what they're doing.
Right. And
cool.
That's all we want. Like, we're not trying to raise funds for whatever. Like, most of the people that I've interviewed, like, I mean, sure, money would help, but they weren't asking for money.
Right.
This is what they're doing. And there's something so powerful to that, because I heard one time, don't let your life be controlled by one of these three things: people, money, or your past.
Okay.
And there's people that you may disagree with them, but are clearly not dictated by any of those things.
Yeah.
They know very clearly that this is what they want to do. And that's powerful to encounter somebody like that, even if their life is completely screwed up by our standards. Like that homeless guy.
Okay.
Like, he knew he was doing exactly what he wanted to do.
It's a true story.
Being homeless, he could have got a job. He had people offer him jobs. Yeah, when you talk to other people that have it a little bit more together and have a job and money, and they're all about orphans or something,
Right.
one demographic or the other, and that's what their life is. And to interview those people and get to the core of what drives them is super powerful.
Yeah.
Especially if it's
That's
not
awesome.
dictated by anybody else.
Yep.
This is our attempt.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, we're attempting to sort this out. as we go.
Right.
I just know that we have people who want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, between all of our friends, I would say we have the equipment to make it happen. Of course, there's always the next, better camera and all that. That never ends.
I told somebody today you could either spend $15,000 on camera or $150,000 on cameras.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could.
You can spend $75,000 on a single lens.
Yeah.
When you start getting into the master primes and stuff.
Yeah.
The
stuff cinema zoom. On the cinema zoom lenses.
Cine zooms.
God.
Yeah. One day. Yeah. I like the Canon Cine zoom lens a lot.
Yeah.
So, obviously we're pretty nerdy. But hey, here's an idea.
Okay.
How about we tease all of the 2 people watching with like the first 30 seconds of our video?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
wait, first 30 seconds to just do the thumbnail.
But I feel like first 30 seconds would be kind of like a fun. Nothing's given away in the first 30 seconds.
Okay. Right.
I mean,
fair enough.
I want to reward the people who come here to watch this. You know what I mean?
Well, let's try
all
to pull
right,
this
so
off.
just give me 1 second. We'll be right back.
My name is Keith Shelton. Me and my wife have 7 children total. We have 4 girls and 3 boys. Age range from 13 to 1.5. Living in a traditional home with traditional values growing up, I always wanted to travel and be on the go. I didn't necessarily want to just be in the same town and
All right, so that's it. Oh wait, I never actually showed it. Oops. All right, we're figuring this out as we go. Here we go. All right, so now you guys can watch it. Oops.
My name is Keith Shelton. Me and my wife have 7 children total. We have 4 girls and 3 boys. Age range from 13 to 1.5. Living in a traditional home with traditional values growing up, I always wanted to travel and be on the go. I didn't necessarily want to just be in the same town. And
So obviously that's a bus.
That's a bus. That's
Obviously that's a
9.
bus. Okay, so we're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. So that was just a short teaser of,
So that's going to be the kind
upcoming episode mini doc thing. First of, I would think, many.
thousands.
I mean, if you know somebody who has a story that they want to tell, and
We'll hold a trial in a dungeon somewhere. And
pretty much.
But
for real, I mean, we'll sit down and talk. That's how we approached the one with the bus and the family. We just sat down and talked, and I mean, it was pretty apparent right away that there was a story to be told here, and we knew we wanted to tell it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be paying attention to all the feedback and everything on social media, but that's basically the kind of things that we're going to be hosting on this is this kind of crap where we're talking about what's going on behind the scenes. We will release a video. We'll try to Skype in that guy that we interviewed and do a 3-way to see if that's possible.
For sure.
To talk a little bit more about behind the scenes about how we actually achieved what we achieved a little bit. There's a lot of interesting details about buying a bus that like you would have no idea how hard it is to like find insurance or something like this.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cool stuff that we didn't get to show.
Right.
And just talking about the technical side of things, live streaming is definitely something that Andrew's very passionate about, that we're going to be trying to push the edge, or try to push the edge of what we could possibly do. So that we'll keep nerding out on that, and just talking about what we're running into, kind of vision casting, that sort of thing, on this podcast, where I'm already talking to a couple people about coming on, talking about their experiences and everything.
Right.
And we'll get some posters to.
Yeah, this bare wall.
We
are aware of the
so
sparse nature of our current
aware.
situation.
But I mean, that's the thing. We're tired of making excuses. Like, we obviously are very, very. I mean, we've done a lot better looking things than this, but
yeah,
it's to the point where we just need to do something.
Yeah.
So this is our we're doing.
This is
something.
us trying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyways, well, I mean, so we're gonna make documentary stuff. We're gonna talk about how we made documentary stuff. We're gonna, from time to time, we'll talk about and review certain pieces of equipment that we've acquired. Once again, plug to Elgato Camlink for the product. It's very cheap. It's like $129 on Amazon Prime, and
a lot of cool
literally just plug it in, and it works. This whole thing is brought to you by that. So thank you, Elgato, for not even sending it for free. I'll pay for it. I'll probably buy another one so that we can do 2 cameras. I know.
So ultimate goal, like, I would love to do a podcast on top of a mountain.
Yep. We've talked about that.
We could do that with Wi-Fi.
I mean,
stuff,
you get me a
mobile
hotspot.
camera.
You get me a mobile hotspot, and,
Yeah.
and we've got it.
You got it.
Well, and a battery, some type of power solution. But
there's a lot that we need, but
yeah,
it'd be
but it's
cool.
doable.
Yeah, and I don't think there's not really a whole lot of other people that want to do that sort
No.
of thing, or can't, or something. So if we can
Wow.
pull it off, we pull it off, right? Cool. So that's what we're doing. We're figuring it out.
All right. Well, I mean, that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Jared. Catchphrase. I don't know.
Yeah, right. So yeah, this is called Overcast, and thanks everyone for tuning in. This is the first episode where we're trying to figure it out. So thanks for bearing with us, and we'll catch all of you guys on the flip side. Oh no!
And
Close my music. Keep talking.
Subscribe so you can watch that video that we're releasing this Monday on Memorial Day.
Yep.
2017.
Yep. We got a big one coming out. It's gonna be awesome. So how cheesy is this music?
It's pretty cheesy.
It's cheesy. Hold on.
That's better.
Yeah, that'll work.
We are one.
Yep. All right, so thanks for tuning in, everybody. Here's some super cheesy, royalty-free, no copyright music so we don't get copyright infringements. Yay!
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.